Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jessica.
Today we're here with another installment from our series on the 7 deadly sins. Wrath.
Okay. There's no fuzzy animals I can talk about. I don't really have a good, might as well just go straight to like Latin or definition or something.
There might be some fuzzy animals that tend to get wrathful, but no, there isn't really anyone that's specifically attached to this. So in Latin, they would have called this ira, which happens to be the root word for irate, which is also used in regards to anger, which, when it comes down to it, most people talking about wrath talk about anger. For example, the dictionary definition, depending on your dictionary, might change, but most of them all got around, most of the ones I checked all got around to the same point: extreme anger. Since really it's easier to talk about anger than wrath, we'll just go ahead and carry on with it. I went and I looked up anger in the catechism and actually managed to find it. And what it stated was that anger is a desire for revenge.
You want to tell what paragraph that is?
Yes, that would be paragraph 2302 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. So I was looking at, and lots of people talked about it. Didn't talk about wrath. They talked about anger. So, the question becomes, is it sinful to be angry?
Well, I mean, logically, it can't always be sinful because I'm still waiting for the time in which doing what Jesus would do involves flipping over tables and, throwing people out of buildings.
And I looked into it, and Thomas agrees with you. St. Thomas agrees with you.
Well, that's good to know.
What he indicated was that anger is not evil by its nature. The way that he put it specifically stated that I believe he reused the term species. Anger was not sinful as a matter of its species. Mm-hmm. It just means by its nature. As revenge may be desired for both well and ill.
Mm-hmm. And I assume when you say St. Thomas, you mean Aquinas, and not the one whose name meant twin and was one of the 12.
Yes. So in general, if I'm talking about theology and I mention St. Thomas, I am referring to St. Thomas Aquinas. But what he did say was that it could be evil due to its quantity. So anger in and of itself, not sinful. However, evil may be found in anger when, to wit, one is angry more or less than right reason demands.
He's very big on just having the proper amount of whatever thing.
Yes. Well, and he also likes to refer sins back to right reason. As St. Thomas saw pretty much all sins as being some good taken to an extent that it departed from a reasonable measure. Mm-hmm. So basically what he's saying is that anger becomes wrath when it exceeds reason. So when you become angry beyond being reasonable, you are now in wrathful territory. I would like to note that while we're talking about sin while we're talking about the sin of wrath, mm-hmm. which would be an excess of anger, mm-hmm. it is possible for an individual to be sinful, as St. Thomas pointed out, from having too little anger. So for all those people who, in an effort to avoid being considered as wrathful, they choose to not get angry when it would be reasonable to do so, that could very well also be a sin because it would be an injustice. So, for example, that guy went and stole my car. Mm-hmm. No big deal. I don't care.
And yes, and also it has the problem that people who are not at all appropriately level anger at things mm-hmm. tend to make everyone else extra angry having to deal with them.
Yes. So that'll bring us around to one of the points I'm going to make about things that you can consider while trying to avoid wrath. Since we don't want to avoid wrath by simply trying to avoid all anger, because number one, sinful. Number two, I don't know that there's anybody who really could truthfully avoid anger completely.
Yes.
I think at some point in time they're simply bottling that anger up inside and putting on a pretty face to hide it.
Yes, and even a great number of saints, when you read about their story, there's clearly points in which they're angry, but they're angry at things like poor starving people or death and disease harming these people when they could have been fixed. Or
well, even in the Bible we see firsthand examples of Jesus getting angry.
Yes, table flipping.
The table flipping, putting together a cord of reeds, or was it? No, it was a cord of something, and he went around whipping at people. But
yes. That's never a story you get to reenact in Sunday school.
I know.
I bet the guys would really like it if you let a bunch of third grade boys flip over tables
and go around chasing each other with terry cloth whips.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so how then should we go about trying to avoid the sin of wrath? Well, when we talked about other sins, we talked about certain things that you could go and do, like with pride. Mm-hmm. Look for those little things. Mm-hmm. Well, with wrath, we really want to consider our motivations. First and foremost, why am I getting angry? We've all been there. Something happens that just kind of tweaks us the right way, and everything was fine, and now suddenly it's not, and we're all frustrated and we're all angry. The first thing that we should be doing is asking ourselves the question, why? Do we really have a just reason to be angry? Is this some sort of harm that was done to us or to someone that we care about or are in charge of caring for? That type of thing. Mm-hmm. We also want to consider the proportionality of our anger.
Okay.
As we pointed out, wrath is either sinful anger is either too much or too little. So the question is, how angry am I really? And how angry should I be? I mean, if somebody stole my car and I was really angry and I wanted the police to find him and get me my car back,
that seems like a reasonable amount of anger. That's
completely proportional. If I were instead to go and insist that we had to find that person, put him out in this town square, hang him by his toenails, and do all this other horrible stuff to him, that might be a little overreaching.
I really think it is, honey. I mean, I know you like your car, but
I don't like my car that much. Mm. I mean, I like my car, but I'm not going to go to the point of, trying to destroy a person for it. But that just gets to the point, Are you angry enough? Are you angry too much? We want to find that middle ground where our anger is proportionate to the harm that was done and to the justice that is due. We also want, finally, to go and consider the effects of our anger. There have been times when people have gone and hurt my feelings, and I've gotten really angry with them. And if I were to have held on to that anger, well, number one, holding on to anger kind of eats you up inside. It causes all kinds of stress. Stress isn't good. Has all sorts of negative physiological effects on your body, psychological effects on your mind. Just undue stress is not a good thing. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's going to harm my relationship with that person. Because if I'm harboring this anger towards them, it's going to make the reconciliation between us that much harder to achieve. Mm-hmm. So, to sum up, anger Could be okay, might not be. If you've got too much of it or too little of it, it definitely isn't. And when you're trying to find that right balance of anger, you should ask yourself simple questions like, why am I angry? Is it too much? Is it too little? And if I hold on to this anger, what's it going to do to myself and those people around me? And most importantly, with regards to the effects on relationships, what's it going to do to your relationship with God? If you are so bent on seeking this revenge, are you trying to take care of something that you should be putting in God's hands? So go down below, hit the subscribe button, the bell next to it so you get notified when we have new episodes coming out. And just so you know, it's still VEASTER, so that means tomorrow. We'll have a new episode out tomorrow. Also go and hit that like button, because why not? And go down below and share in the comments section, I don't know, maybe a story of a time you got angry. Maybe it was a good anger, maybe it wasn't. Maybe you want to share with the rest of the community a story of how you avoided getting angry when you shouldn't have.
Maybe you'd like to share a story about the angriest pet you've ever seen.
Or
was it a chihuahua? I bet it was a chihuahua.
Or the time that you got so angry that your skin started turning green or red or gray or some other color. All your clothes just shredded right off of your body except for the purple sweatpants that amazingly fit you no matter what size you are.
Well, they do become shorts.
They do. And if so, Dr. Banner, please leave a comment down below, because sometime when you're calm and collected, I'd like to meet you. And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
And share that love. Wrath. Take 2.
Erg.
I am wrathful at my computer for messing up.
Arr.